Alrighty, welcome to episode 160 of Tokwa's Ask Us Anything. As usual, it's been a pretty busy news week. Less than 3 months after completing the acquisition of the wireless charging company Wiferion, Tesla has sold off its current wireless charging products and shell company to the electrical engineering company Pulse. Tesla will, however, reportedly retain the engineers currently employed by Wiferion. Tesla has announced the production of its 20 millionth 4680 battery cell some 4 months after announcing its 10 millionth battery. Tesla has launched an official API program which formally allows third-party providers to register their vehicle telemetry and control products directly with Tesla rather than relying on what to date has effectively been a reverse-engineered informal API access point. Western Australia's WAEV network has further progressed with Horizon Power's 150 kilowatt Chempower fast DC charger site in Kununurra now fully commissioned and opened for all EVs to use. This brings the total number of stations currently active to 14 out of the final project plan of 49 sites. Warman and Halls Creek are expected to come online within the next 48 hours. The High Court of Australia, in a majority decision, has determined that Victoria's Zero and Low Emission Vehicle Distance-Based Charge Act of 2021 is invalid and consequently struck it down. The court has further determined that the state of Victoria should pay the costs of the proceeding. And that was this week's news. And I dare say that the last news item is probably the biggest news for quite some time for all EV owners in Australia. So once again, welcome everyone. If there is anyone who is new, please do unmute yourself and say hello if you're comfortable in doing so. Or perhaps a little bit later. So that's cool too. Alrighty, well, I guess we might as well jump in. I mean, two big bits of news. If you want to be very parochial, the fact that Halls Creek DC charger is up and running is an awesome thing. And also the fact there's going to be a cascade of Warman and Halls Creek in the next 48 hours and a few other charger locations over the next couple of weeks. In fact, quite a few. So I dare say we're going to go from having a pretty good setup to being almost awesome very soon. And then the next item is obviously the High Court decision.
Fantastic.
Which is huge because, well, what it's basically done is it's guaranteed that WA's July 1, 2027 law will also be struck down, almost certainly. And, well, should I say the state government will probably dismantle it before it's struck down. But all it really does, in essence, is give an opportunity for the Commonwealth government to just put in the same levy legally. So I guess we'll just have to watch this space. Has anyone got any opening questions or comments?
Okay, no, I'm looking forward to tomorrow morning.
Oh, yes. And yes, I had actually mentioned it a couple of news weeks ago. So obviously we've got Tesla's Q3.
Yep.
Yes, Q3 earnings call.
Q3.
Sorry about it. Earnings results and the follow-up call. And the call will occur at about 5:30 a.m. our time tomorrow morning. And it's going to be a big one for Tesla because obviously their margins have probably reduced a little bit because of their price reductions, but their revenue has increased because of sales. So it's going to be, and some of their costs have also come off. So it's going to be very interesting to see how Tesla performs. And given the absolute steaming pile of excrement that is the UAW dispute with the major ICE manufacturers in the US, it's going to be very interesting what happens in the next 6 to 12 months. Yeah,
it's a shame what they've done. Effectively, kill off three companies.
As SMR, because he's so famous now, he just gets an acronym or an initial instead of Stephen Mark Ryan. As he would say, I mean, they're gunning for a 40% short-term pay rise, which will then very quickly turn into a 100% pay decrease when they all get laid off, or sorry, sacked, because
100%.
their holding company's gone broke yet again. So yeah, it's certainly interesting times. Alrighty, has anyone got any questions? Because this is, after all, Ask Us Anything.
Quite nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Well, thanks for joining us. I hope you have a.
I mean,
Hey,
hell,
you got
there's stuff I could
you
talk
got the
about.
outro ready? Oh dear, it's a
Stay
quiet
safe.
it's a quiet night tonight. We might as well then throw to the next week's events, which is going to be the Australian Electric Vehicle Association EV Expo in Perth, which is a great thing. And it's basically on between the 3rd and the 5th of November at the Perth Convention and Exhibition Centre. So if you want to go, it's actually free entry. Now, I should just check, because I think there's something wrong with that date, because the actual expo is on the 4th and the 5th. And I think
next weekend, I'm pretty sure, Harold.
Oh, sorry, the week after. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, in 2 weeks. Sorry, it's in 2 weeks. It's in a week and a half. Well, yeah, a week and a half's time. So we will actually further spruik that event next week.
Yeah.
Alrighty. And actually, it's great because it's the first. I think it's the first time it's been in Perth for a very long time. There basically are 6 odd branches of the Electric Vehicle Association of Australia, and it's sort of like the expo goes on a rotating basis. So basically, it's our turn this year, which is going to be pretty good.
2 weeks away.
2 weeks, less than 2 weeks away.
2 days.
Yes. So there you go. All right. Does anyone want to talk on this show, or am I going to just dribble for the next 2 hours?
Go on. Can I put my order in?
Yes. Go, Mark.
I came a little bit late today. I only came in halfway through, unfortunately. I've now decided we're definitely going over to the Byron Bay Festival next year in March.
Yes.
So how many of those stations are going to be open by then to actually get over there?
Right. So you're going to have a fairly good trip, actually, to be perfectly honest. So
I think we should more or less be up, I think.
March. Yeah, let me just get the filters happening. So what you're going to have is you're going to have Merredin, you're going to have Southern Cross, you're going to have Coolgardie, you're going to have Norseman.
Whoa, that's going to be impressive.
Well, Beladonia has a 22 kilowatt Delta charger at the moment.
Yeah.
Pyguna has a 50 kilowatt Tritium at the moment, and Madura Pass has a 22 kilowatt Delta charger. Then you won't have anything until I think Ceduna will be done by then.
What's the distance between those two, roughly?
Sorry, between Madura and Ceduna.
Yeah. Looks a long way.
Yeah. I mean, look, there's charging at Mundrabilla.
Yeah.
So you can actually AC charge. So if I just put on 3-phase for the moment, you can actually charge up at Mundrabilla Roadhouse and then make it all the way to Nullarbor Roadhouse. So those two will be AC, 32 amp. Actually, watch this space for the Nullarbor Roadhouse, because there's something in that. But some of us are scheming something, but we won't reveal anything at the moment. But there's a scheme being hatched. Then from
4 kilometres.
Yes, and then from Nullarbor you can basically top up at Penong Caravan Park, or I think you can actually make it to Ceduna. the Sejuna charger might be available. The Wadena one will be available because you can actually see that it's basically in the process of being installed.
Yeah.
And this was already nearly a week ago.
Will it have failed by then, though, do you think?
It's a Kempower unit, so actually it probably won't, hopefully. And the Kimber one, again, that will be done because that's already installed. In fact, this will be ready in early November. And the RAA are working on installing the Port Augusta unit, which is a 200 kilowatt unit. And after Port Augusta, you don't have to worry because, in fact, from Kimber, you could make it to Clare. But in any case, Port Augusta will be done. And
I think I'll be heading high, I think, after that, to get across to Byron Bay.
Yes, you could go the inland route, Broken Hill, Wilcannia, Cobar, and onwards.
Top one has a volume, isn't it?
Dubbo.
This
which I've been to. That's a supercharger, and then you can go up.
Is that up the top?
Yeah.
That's up the top.
Yeah.
Where we lost
So yeah, you can.
I'm going to listen to that for hours.
So so basically, you'll be able to go quite easily. The main impediment will be just the Nullabore's a little bit slow, and just Nullarbor Roadhouse and whatever. But
that's all right.
Yeah, apart from that, it's going to be in March. It's going to be a pretty good trip. Sorry, whoever's iPhone, can you please stay muted because we can hear you in the background. Yeah, so it's going to be pretty good. Going across the Nullarbor, I guess. The Horizon Power isn't due to complete the Nullarbor 4 charges at Belladonna, Kaiguna, Majura, and Eucla. That's probably going to be finished in Q3 next year, because they were given a 6-month extension because that part of the project was actually added after the project was defined as an extra 4 locations. So they've been given a 6-month extension, which is appropriate because it came late to the party.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant! Look forward to that.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're hoping to do it earlier on this year, but that just didn't come to fruition. So that's how it looks like it'll make it easier.
Absolutely, it'll be a much more pleasant journey. Okay, John, you've got your hand up.
No, thanks, Harold.
Oh, okay. Carry on, John.
Oh, sorry, Jonathan. I was referring to John, who had his hand up.
Yeah, hi, Harold. On Sunday, I noticed the Eaton supercharger was down to 2 stalls. Anyone have any information about that?
Oh.
So when you say it was down to 2 stalls, it probably just meant that 2 stalls were available, which meant that 4 stalls were occupied. So that's just unfortunately just a symptom of the popularity of Teslas at the moment. The Eaton site shows 5. Now, did you look that up in your car or on your phone?
Yes. Tesla was there.
In the car.
In the car, there was only 2 because it was all on the way down from Mandurah. I'm at Wellington Dam now. I went to go for a top up there, but it was 50%, then it was 100. But there was 1, then there was 2, and nothing. So I dipped into Triondale, which had 2 spare ones for a top up to come off grid here at Wellington Dam. But I didn't know if anyone had heard what had happened to the rest of the stalls.
Oh, look, you'd have to go
in Slack. There's a post in Slack. Somebody was there when the Tesla guys turned up. They had to restart the whole thing and got it going for him, but there was a technical fault apparently.
Oh. Okay. No, I was about lunchtime that I was looking at doing so. Triondale, I did a diversion into there because it was just too much. It was none available quite often around that lunchtime, of course.
Yeah, because it's showing Margaret River offline as well. In the car. I haven't checked. In the car. I'm not sure about the app.
On the app, it's actually showing as 3 available.
That's all right.
So unfortunately, what I've seen is, and I forget which way it goes, I've seen there be a complete difference between what the app shows and what the car map shows. And I just don't recall which one was correct. But one of them was definitely wrong. So unless we've got eyes on Margaret River, we just don't really know. But the car might be wrong. Yeah. So you're saying that in your car right now, Paul, it's saying offline?
Yeah, it's greyed out.
Yeah, right.
But it says 3 stalls available. I don't understand. Yeah, because it was
saying no, Paul, it's greyed out because your car can't reach it, so you're not at a high state of charge. That's why.
Yeah, no shit. Since this 80%, sorry. God. Yeah.
No, yeah, so
I'll get back to
that's a pro tip.
Yep.
If you're cruising, if you are looking around on your map and you do see a greyed out pin, it's not because it's not available. It's because your car doesn't think it would make it, so it doesn't bother to show it as a viable pin, unless you go and charge up more or whatever. So if you look over east, Paul, all of those will be greyed out too. But if you go, you can click on any one of them, and it will tell you the status.
I think it was really at only 2 charging points, because it went from 1 available to 0, then back to 1. As you could see it when a car had stopped going, then another one would come in, then it'd be 2, and then it was greyed out. There was none available when there was two cars there, basically. So something was wrong with it, obviously, like James had said.
Yes, and actually, I just forgot one of the big news items too. Silly me. Let me just spool it up. Deary me, that was shocking that I forgot that too.
The new supercharger.
Yes, the new supercharger location. That that we as a club actually broke that news. Here it is. The 6-stall version 3 Port Coogee Village Shopping Centre in North Coogee. And you can actually see the 6 stalls right there. 6 outlets, 2 DC units. And it's conveniently under the Undercroft parking of the shopping centre. And the funny thing is, when I took this photo, I actually saw 2 other Teslas in the underground car park, but I just hadn't noticed what that stuff was. So yeah, that's huge news. So that's going to be Perth's 2nd supercharger, which is pretty awesome. And yeah, that was one big piece of news I just didn't put in the news. But anyway, too much input. And also, it's not the last of the superchargers that are coming into Perth either. There are others, which is pretty exciting too. Alrighty.
All right.
Yeah, sorry, Jonathan.
No, Jonathan.
Yeah, go, Jonathan.
Yeah. I think I'm sorted. I was asking what the red lines were on the map, and Mike was saying it's a traffic build-up, which is quite interesting.
Yep.
Yes. So on the map, you're referring to the map on your car?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yes. Yeah. So provided that you have premium connectivity, which after the first month of owning a Tesla, a brand new one, Tesla will invite you to pay for that, or pay $9.99 per month for that feature. And one of the things you do get is effectively the Google live traffic visualization, which obviously doesn't show all the green lines, because otherwise most of the roads would be green, but it shows any red areas. I think sometimes it shows black areas, which is really bad, and yellow ones, which is a little bit congested. So yeah, it's just helping you get a visual indication of how the traffic's going on the map area.
Isn't it?
Thank you very much.
Interesting.
Oh, sorry, say again.
I think it's Apple Maps that they use, not Google.
Google Chrome.
No, it's Google. It's Google. Sure. It's Google Maps.
Yeah, if you flick down on it, it's in the corner.
Yeah, it's a combination of Google Maps and Open Maps.
Yeah, but it's not Apple.
Yeah, Apple Maps are rubbish.
And also the navigation is provided by TomTom. So
yeah, right.
So when it actually navigates, that route is provided by TomTom.
Wow.
And Apple, Google do the actual visualization of the map, and they also do the
and
aerial
the
photography. Yeah, the sort of so-called satellite view or the aerial view.
Right.
Because none of the aerial view is actually done by satellite; it's all aerial photography, basically.
Yeah.
But if you don't pay for premium connectivity,
on that, you probably can't see it, but so when I look at the location above in the like when you're looking, as you say, like
on your app.
On the app, it says Apple Maps in the corner.
Yes, that's because the map of the app is provided by Apple on an iPhone. Because Tesla's just using the map API in the phone to actually do the mapping, but it just lays icons and other things on the map. So I dare say the app map is related to your ecosystem, the phone's ecosystem. But in the car, it's definitely Google Maps, Google Imagery, or Google sourced or resourced imagery, and the actual navigation routing is done by TomTom.
Brilliant.
So when you look in your software, in the software tab of your car, of the menu of your car, you'll see when it says navigation data, that's actually provided for by TomTom and updated every 6 months or so.
Cool.
Alrighty, sorry, I think it was someone else was saying something. Jonathan.
I was going to say something. But Jonathan,
Mark, go Mark.
Hey, so just very quick one. Has anyone heard any more about Charge on Solar? It was rumoured to be being released, so you could actually charge your car and actually charge it off the solar system. I think they keep saying it's going to be.
It got launched in the States, but
it's in States and Canada.
And we
I haven't heard anything else about anywhere else yet.
I can.
We had an update this week for the.
Hang on, Paul. Go, Jonathan. Sorry, go, Jonathan. Then Paul. Then Mark. Yeah,
I was just answering his question. That's all.
So we've got a bit of a delay happening. So let's just pause for a sec. Go, Jonathan. Then Paul. Then Mark. So go, Jonathan.
Okay, thanks. I've been meaning to ask you guys if any of you out there charge on solar, because I notice you talk a lot about charging stations. I have a private setup, a private circuit at home, and I'm charging my car 100% on solar. The system I'm using is I've got a set of solar panels which feed into an inverter. There's also a house battery in the circuit, and the Tesla just plugs into the inverter, getting 240, just like it would if I plugged it into the house. And it works very well, because on a cloudy day, or a day that's half cloudy and half sunny, when there's a cloud in front of the sun, the Tesla takes from the house battery. And then when the sun comes out, there's enough energy for the Tesla to take direct from the inverter, and the house battery charges up. But that system, I have it charging on 10 amps, which is 2.5 kilowatts. And I can charge the car up in about 3 days just from the solar panels.
Yes. Okay. So, yeah, that's right. That's a very simple way of doing it. Now, Paul, I think you're going to answer the fact about effectively what has to be a Powerwall based solution that Tesla's spruiked at the moment. So go, Paul, and then Mark.
We got an update this week for the app to connect your wall charger, the high power wall charger, for that sort of very purpose this week. So, yeah.
When you say that, do you mean to do with solar charging, or do you mean just to get visibility and control of your Gen 3 wall connector?
Maybe the second. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't have a power wall, so I was just like, and then I sold my bloody Gen 3 anyway.
I dare say it's the latter. It's the latter. So what you're referring to, Paul, was you can actually control, and I think you can configure once you've got control of and get visibility of your wall connector via your Tesla app. So you can see how much current is passing to the car. And if there are two that are cooperating, so you've got two cars plugged in, it'll tell you what current's going to each car. Yeah.
Oh.
But it won't do solar stuff. So then, Mark, you're next.
I was saying that. Well, yeah, that was. I was talking about the charge on solar with the Powerwall, because we've got a Powerwall, we've got the Gen 3 charger, we've got the Tesla, and so we're just waiting to make it so that I just say, I'm at home, it's plugged in, only charge the car up to whatever I've set it to when the solar's available, and it's not going to the battery, and it's not going to the house. And that is available in the States.
But hang on, Paul.
I was wondering if anyone had heard.
Yeah, no, not yet. So the one thing you're missing is you're in the wrong country. So at the moment, you have to be in North America.
How do I sort that one out?
Move.
Yeah, so it's talking about add your wall charger to view charging history and set charging schedules. And that.
Funny enough, the app update's just come up for that. So but it doesn't mention anything about charge on solar. As you said.
No.
So I forget who the gentleman was before. Was it Jonathan that said that you've got your? Who said that you're charging?
It probably was me.
Yes, Jonathan. Yeah,
my own set of solar panels, and that's what I'm using.
Yep.
And as I said, it's an off-grid circuit, so I've got complete control over what happens.
Yeah.
It's an off-grid circuit, yeah, right. What's your inverter?
Oh, God. I got it from China. It's probably not a very famous one. I could find out for you. I'll text it to you.
Not a Huawei one? Huawei or good from the Chinese?
I'll just wander out to the shed and I'll take a torch with me. And just so you guys know what the inverter is. So it's a 5 kilowatt inverter, which is more than enough for the job. And
but that's interesting that you've got a completely off-grid setup with your inverter, which is also a charger and a Powerwall. So that's pretty cool.
The inverter simply takes current either from the battery or direct from the solar panels, and it produces an AC current, obviously, and that's what the Tesla's looking for. I could send you a picture of the thing. I've got one somewhere, but let's have a look at this inverter. What does it call itself?
That's a solution for people that want to have a second solar array.
Yes, exactly. It is indeed. It calls itself CN SWIP Power.
So Jonathan, to be clear, are you saying that is not grid interactive? So you've not got that connected to the grid. It's literally an island inverter with its own battery attached to it, and that solely charges your car or whatever, provides power to charge your car.
Absolutely. But the house battery we also use to run the house at night as well.
So you have a changeover switch then to do that?
Yes, I do. So during at about 5 o'clock in the evening, I switch over from the grid to the what they call the emergency circuit, and that's running on this this house battery. Yes, indeed.
Oh, cool.
And there you go, boys and girls. That's how you do it. When Western Power says you can't have more solar connected to the grid, then you do what Jonathan's done, and you have a changeover switch, or you just choose to use that second inverter just to charge your car, and be a source of.
Harold, because I've got 5 kilowatts on the front of the house, which is grid connected, and that's simply used to heat the hot water system and run the house during the day. And then I switch over to the second array of panels, the battery, which has been charged from the second array of panels during the night. So I've got 10 kilowatts altogether, and I'm only on single phase.
Brilliant.
Thank you very much. I'll send some pictures if I can find them.
That answered a question of mine, an obsession of mine from quite a while ago that I gave up on.
It was a very frustrating process. It took me at least 3 or 4 months to research the whole thing and build it up and put it together. It was a very frustrating process.
Yeah, and that's very doable, provided with the changeover switch, there's dozens of milliseconds of interruption. So if you've got anything that's sensitive, you just might want to put a UPS on it, like a computer or something like that. But it's certainly it's a means of getting around what at the moment is some crazy regulations.
Yes, we do have the computers are all on a UPS.
Very good. Very good.
Cool.
Alrighty. Has anyone else got any other questions or comments?
Yes.
I just want to, sorry, after Brad.
Hello. Yes, I'm new. This is just my second time I've logged in, and we're looking at, we're going to purchase a Model Y in the next few weeks. And I wanted everyone's sort of consensus, I guess, on the wall charges of Tesla. From my research, I guess it's cost effective, or it's actually quite well priced compared to a lot of the others. But you can't solar charge, as you guys have been talking about, and it's also not, ICC compatible, or OCCP, etc., which I've read on the Solar Quotes website or whatever, that they're the two major things that he would want when he's choosing a wall charger. So do a lot of you guys have the Tesla wall chargers, or you've gone with something that's more appropriate for solar charging?
So let me just address that all in one lump. So the first thing I just picked up there is you said that there was some website that basically said that OCPP is like a desirable element of a charger that you would use at home. Now, the very direct answer to that is it is not. In fact, I don't personally know anyone that is using OCPP for their home charger. And in fact, I don't even know why you would. The point of OCPP is an open charge point protocol. That is for things like public charging locations where you want to charge people money to use that charger. So please, if anyone sees that on any website that says a significant criteria for the selection of a home charger is OCPP, then please just close that browser window and go to another website, because that's just not correct. It's incorrect. Now,
exactly.
The other thing too is you mentioned that you were buying a Model Y. Were you going to order one soon? Now, this is some other little bit of news that wasn't in the news either, but it is now public knowledge, and it's being publicly said at the showrooms, Tesla showrooms, is firstly you should use a referral code to buy your car, because you will get up until the 31st of October. If you order a Model Y using a referral code, you'll get, I think it's $750 discount.
Yes, Russell's actually kindly offered his referral code for me. Thank you.
Fantastic, because if you are thinking of ordering it, order it before the 1st of November, because as of the 1st of November, the money discount you get for using a referral to buy a Model Y, this only applies to Model Ys, does not apply to Model 3, that discount will halve as of the 1st of November. So if you're on the fence, you've got 2 weeks or whatever it is until the 1st of November to place the order, or that discount will halve after then. So just a FYI. And then also, as you've alluded to, do seek to use a referral from someone you know, because I'm sure they will be more than happy, and even people you don't know, like Russell, will be more than happy with the 10,000 referral credit points that the referrer gets, that they will happily spend 9,000 of those points to get a wall charger for home and give it to you.
Yes.
So that applies to you, to anyone that's doing it for themselves, or to a friend or a relative, or even a stranger. So that way, the actual question of what charger should I use or buy for home, well, it should be the one that was gotten with the referral that you used, ideally, and then it costs nothing.
And you can charge from solar. We all do it.
And yeah, Richard. So yeah, absolutely. So even though you cannot automatically charge with, say, something like a Zappi, and bearing in mind, if you're contemplating buying a Zappi, the hardware itself costs about $2,000. Then you've got installation. And then what you've basically done is poured about $2,500 of prepayment for this ethereal free solar that you're going to be putting into your car. The only problem there is, for most people with a 5 kilowatt inverter and 6.6 kilowatts of panels and other things that the house uses, and if you have a day job that's not at home, the chances of you actually recovering that $2,500 in free juice in any time less than 10 years is pretty remote. So really it's the Tesla's wall connector for the win, above almost anything else in almost all cases.
And it's got a button so you can open the charge flap.
Oh yes,
yeah,
that's a killer app. And
that is
killer. That is killer.
Yeah,
and it'll even, when you're finished with it, when you want to unlatch it, you press the button and it'll unlatch. Whereas everything else, you'll have to go in the car, use your app, and mess around.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, no.
Thank you.
So, with the money being halved, will the credits be halved as well? Or
That's not something I'd...
Because if they halve the credits, you won't be able to get a wall charger.
It's not something I've heard mentioned.
Yeah.
So, and you'll notice also the wall charger has actually experienced some inflation. Up. So it was originally 7,000 points. Then it went to 8,000 points. Now it's 9,000 points. So I think that's not been mentioned. And in one sense, that's less important for timing-wise than the fact that the actual price discount you'll get on the Model Y will halve on the 1st of November. But that's only for people that are about to order. Don't let us suck you into saying, well, if you were going to order it in 6 months' time because of whatever circumstance, don't forcibly bring it forward just for the sake of $350. That's not worth it.
So it's not receipt, it's not delivery, it's just ordering.
It's just placing of the order. That's correct. Because the price is effectively set. The price terms is set on the date of order, not the date of delivery.
Yep.
All righty. Has anyone else got any questions or comments?
Cybertruck.
Gen 3 wall connector is probably the best one to do your referral points on. You're right, Harold. And if you don't want it, you can just sell it. Like, they don't last long. I sold one yesterday in an hour.
Cool.
Yeah. Please don't sell it on Tokwa's Facebook page, because Tokwa has a policy of not openly allowing users of our social media to effectively convert referral credits into dollars. So please don't sell it. Sell it on eBay. Sell it on any other Facebook site you want. But at a recent committee meeting, the committee resolved not to facilitate the conversion of Tesla's credits to money. If you want to give the charger away, like Russell has offered and is doing, that's great. But yeah, please don't sell them on our websites or whatever. But yeah, good on you, Damo, for converting it to cash. Yeah. All right, moving.
Just while I've got you, Harold, because I probably won't be staying very long. Just the Kings Park charger. There's a fault with it. Who would you report that to?
What's the fault, Damo?
The screen on it, the display is not working. It's out, and it's fine. Like if you've got an app, like as we know, but I had an elderly couple up there yesterday. They wanted me to help them, and they just had a key fob, and because you couldn't see the screen, you couldn't get any instructions. And I buggered around with it for ages. I just couldn't get that car to connect to it. In the end, I could see they were getting quite frustrated, so I just activated it with my app and paid for their charge session.
Good on you, mate.
Yeah, good on you, Damo. Wow. Actually, I think someone's actually said the screen is dead, but the charger still seems to work, and yet
I just
the most
went up
recent
there to
photo.
have a look at it.
When was that?
Yesterday.
What day was that? Sorry, what day was it?
Yesterday morning, Harold. I only sort of
Yesterday.
went up there. We had lunch, breakfast in South Perth, so I thought I'd go have a look at it. I ended up helping everyone up there.
Yeah. Okay. Look, suffice to say that Synergy listens to this to ask us anything, but I'll also pass it on. The other way you can do it is if you look at the charger itself, it has a phone number for the ChargeFox helpline, so you can also report it to ChargeFox.
I found a 1-300 help number or something today on Plugshare. I just didn't have a chance to call it, Harold. I've just been too busy at work.
The other thing you can do, and this is for everyone's benefit, is you can send an email to waevnetwork@synergy.net.au. So that is also another means that anyone can report any issue with any of the chargers on the WAEV network. But suffice to say, Damo, they may already be aware, but if not, I'll certainly make sure they're aware as well.
Thanks, Harold. I'm just too busy in the daytime at the moment just to...
Yeah, no worries. It's all good.
It's also linked from the ChargeFox app as well. So you can actually go into the site and there's a question mark there that says need help charging at this station or something not working. You've got a link down the bottom, help and support from there.
Oh, right.
So although it might be slower, it's also available from the app.
Copy that.
Very good. Thanks, Mark. Sorry, Richard Chapman, you were going to say something.
So was that waevnetwork@synergy.net.au?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Yep. So for any concerns, queries, whatever, anything whatsoever to do with WAV Network, that's the best email to contact them on.
Cool.
Or, of course, if you just let anyone of us know at the club, then we'll also, directly tell some of the Synergy people who, like I said, are listening. So a big shout out for all the Synergy listeners.
Thanks, heroes.
Love your work. It's the networks. Look, it's getting exciting. We know from last week's report that after the Meriden, Southern Cross and Coolgardie stations, that there'll be a little bit of quiet until next year, but that's okay. Because in the first quarter of next year, all these things are going to be popping up like mushrooms, and they'll all be ready to go, and it will be awesome.
They're a nice bit of bloody gear, them Kempower chargers, Harold.
They are, and they are great quality. They're from Finland, I think that's right, and they are very well built. And one thing that, and I've mentioned this a couple of times before, when those chargers were ordered, the specs said that they could only charge effectively 400 volt cars. They couldn't charge the 800 volt cars with 800 volts. But when they were first installed and commissioned, there was a software update. Kempower worked out how to put the DC units in series, so then they could double their voltage. And now you can we'll be able to charge our Cybertrucks at the full 150 kilowatt capacity, when they come. And that was done for free as a software update. So they're an awesome product. All indication is they're very reliable, and notwithstanding perhaps the odd screen that maybe that, I dare say it might just be the backlight, the actual, LED backlight part of the screen.
Well, the LCD, it looks like it was just
black.
Well, I couldn't even, it was like a dark purpley color, like really black, dark purple. I'm not sure if it was activated and just blank or if it wasn't at all. Just couldn't see anything on it.
Yeah, no worries. I'll actually suss out to see if that's...
You've got that, but because it's easy, just press start charging. But
actually, Damo, it's also what you can do is if it's black, you plug the car in and you badge your card on where it shows that little badging symbol, the little PayWave sort of symbol, and it will actually work. So without the screen.
That Harold, and the card didn't want to connect to it.
Yeah, right. And you did that after you plugged the car in first?
Yep.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting.
And then if when I put it with the app, I just pressed start charging on the app and it went. So it was a hire car, and they'd been given like a it's not like a fob. It's like a fob, like a swipe card, but it's like a key fob.
Right.
So
and were they told that would activate ChargeFox units as well?
Yep.
Interesting.
So there might even have been a problem with that. Why I couldn't get it connected, but the display is definitely out.
Yeah, cool. Well, what I'll do is next week I'll report back of what it was and confirm that it's been fixed, or if it's going to get or when it will be fixed if it hasn't already. So I'll let you know, Damo.
Yep. Cheers, Harold.
No worries. All right. Anyone else got any questions or comments?
Remember, Des wanted to say something.
Oh yes, Des.
Yeah, I was going to ask Jonathan whether he'd designed that system himself, or and then I got another question. John, is Jonathan still here? Yeah.
Yeah, go, Jonathan. After you've unmuted.
Maybe he's buggered off.
He might have just stepped out. So maybe go for your second one, Des, and then we'll come back to Jonathan.
Any recommendations? Thinking about going down to Esperance, haven't been down there yet, but going via Wave Rock. Any recommendations there? We've got a Model Y standard.
Yep. So at the moment, by the way, Hyden and Brookton are on the plan for the WEV network, so they will be fast DC locations, but they will not be online until next year. So sorry, when are you going, Des?
I haven't made up my mind yet. Just been meaning to do it for years, just haven't done it. I thought let's stretch the Tesla.
Yeah. So let me just get the screen up. So Hyden is a coming soon pin, but coming soon will mean next year. So if you are planning on going to Esperance via Hyden early next year, then you'll be fine, because there'll be a charger at Brookton. So you could just go Brookton Highway, I think that's right, and go to Brookton, Hyden, and then you can charge. You will be able to charge at the fast DC charger at Ravensthorpe. This one here is not a fast DC charger. It is a 20 kilowatt, 19 kilowatt tritium. It's had to be dialed down because it was popping fuses or circuit breakers. So, but the WEV network will have a charger at Ravensthorpe, which will be up and running early next year. And then Esperance will actually be running in the next week or so. And in fact, Norseman is also due to be running in the next week or so, ish. So yeah, so your trip to Esperance via Hyden is going to be awesome, Des. Let's call it after the school holidays, for safety's sake.
Yeah, thank you.
At the moment, you're better off to go to Williams, Lake Grace, and Ravensthorpe. That's the practical way at the moment.
Yes. So that's Williams, Lake Grace, Ravensthorpe's slow, but it's still better than nothing, and then Esperance. And like I said, Esperance is going to be running within the next week or so.
Well, you can probably get from Lake Grace to Esperance anyway, but it's just good to have that Ravensthorpe one as a top up if you want it.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, I think one thing that none of us have really contemplated yet is, once this network is finished, if you just set aside the Nullarbor for a moment, but let's call it by, I don't know, Easter. I don't know when Easter is, but let's say Easter.
March.
It'll all be done, which means you'll be able to just hop in your car and drive to Kununurra. You'll be able to hop in your car and drive to Esperance. Within a couple of weeks, you can just hop in your car and drive to Kalgoorlie. And you can do it like a first-class citizen, where you might turn up at Southern Cross and, with nothing much left in your battery, and you'll be able to put 300 kilometers of range in that battery in 30 minutes, which is, barely enough time to walk the length of Southern Cross, go to the lunch bar and have a sandwich and a coffee or whatever, and have a walk around, and then your car will be yelling at you to come back to rescue it from idle fees. So, and that's going to happen in the next 6 months.
By the way, just I've only ever charged once, and the Bunnings are free. How do you get the notification when you're about to hit idle fees?
Yeah, it happens. It happens automatically on the ChargeFox app. So this is idle fees only apply to 2 networks at the moment. Yep. The first one and most important at the moment is the Tesla Superchargers. So and the price is the same. It's $1 a minute. I think for Tesla that comes in if you sit plugged in for more than 5 minutes. And of course your Tesla app will give you notifications of that. But the ChargeFox app will give you notifications once charging has stopped. So it'll say that charging has stopped or your session has ended, whether that's normally or abnormally, and you then got 10 minutes to get back to your car before $1 a minute idle fee starts. And of course the purpose of that is not for revenue, to gain revenue. It's simply to ensure humans act appropriately, which is the purpose of the charger is you plug in, you charge up, you finish charging, you unplug and you leave.
Yeah, I have no problem with that. I can see why I introduced it.
Yep. And so I grimace at any mention of Kings Park, because unfortunately if you are in a Mercedes or in an Audi or in a Jaguar who have a free charging arrangement with ChargeFox, at the moment those cars are anomalous. They do not incur, or the owners do not pay idle fees. And I think Sandra Giri from Synergy last week mentioned that some of these idle fees were quite high, or would have been high, because I think a car was nearly 2 hours parked after charging, which is disgraceful behaviour. But at the moment, until ChargeFox's system is improved, those cars are the anomaly. Whereas us humble Tesla owners, if you were so stupid, you would be invited to pay $120 for that idle fee. And the same thing would happen if you're connected to a supercharger for that long as well, without question. Alrighty. Anyone else got any questions or comments?
Yeah, I've got another question, if that's okay.
Yes, Brad.
We're trying to get that rebate from the WA government, and we need to be under 70,000 to do that. But if we choose a grey Model Y and we love the look of the sort of alloy tyres that are 2,800 extra, it takes
Don't do it, Brad. Do not do it, because that $2,800 will cost you over $5,000. Because what you can do, provided you have a referral code, or you use a referral link, you can only choose one option for the standard range Model Y. That option is either a different colour, or if you pick pearl white as the standard colour, you can either pick the black and white interior, or you can pick the alloy rims. You cannot pick 2 options. If you pick 2 options, you bust out of the $70,000 dutiable limit, and you will lose the $3,500 rebate, even if the price was only a couple of $100 above the 70. If it's over by $1, you're out. So please resist the urge to do that, unless you're prepared to forego the $3,500 and you're happy with it because the tyres are awesome and worth the $5,000 or $6,000 that they'll actually cost you.
And what about rims? Hubcaps. Has anyone used that? Do they still look quite decent to go over the top, or?
Of the you mean of the standard Gemini wheels?
Yes, yes.
Yes, in fact, I don't have them here, but you can buy on Alibaba and Tesseries and Teslas and many other Tesla accessory places. You can actually buy snap-on turbine wheel covers that make your, is it 19-inch? I think they're 19-inch standard Gemini wheels look like they've got turbine alloys on,
right?
If you like that sort of look. And that'll only cost you, I bought a set, I never used them, but I bought a set for about $500-600 maybe, or maybe it was 400, something like that.
Yeah, the guy in the Tesla shop was recommending that because he said he's had a lot of customers come back. They get a lot of the curb rash, and once the color comes off them, they don't look so pleasant. Yeah.
Yes, I've got a performance car which has got Uber turbines, the 21-inch Uber turbines, and they just beg to be rim rashed because the rim actually sticks out further than the tire. So, yeah, look, get your grey car, and that's it. Just get it with a black interior and the standard rims, and you'll love it, and you'll get $3,500 off.
Yeah, thanks for the advice.
But use a referral as well, because you'll also get the $750, and you'll also score yourself, courtesy of Russell, I think it is. You'll get yourself a high power wall connector, a wall charger. Sorry.
Yeah. Thanks for the advice.
No worries, Brad. Alrighty. Any other questions or comments?
I've got a comment. It was just to do with the case for the Victorian levy. A friend of mine rang me up today from Victoria, and he said that it may also have implications with states putting stamp duty and this sort of charges on. Some of these other fees and charges that they're putting on us may come under this court case and be illegal. So it could be an interesting development. Now, I haven't seen the notification. This is just what he told me. So it could be an interesting case, all told.
Yeah, I sort of agree, because if you think of, say, things like our annual license fee, registration fee. Well, that's kind of a fee to use the road, and the Victorians describe the zero or low emissions vehicle, whatever they called it, tax. They describe that as a tax in order to use certain roads.
That's right.
So if registration is a cost to use the state roads, then what's the difference?
He indicated there could be quite dramatic ramifications from this. Could open up Pandora's box, I reckon. But be interesting to see what happens from that.
If
he certainly raised it.
Yeah, if you actually read the High Court ruling on the Victorian thing, they basically said that Victoria were trying to argue that it was a permit or a license, their ZLEV fee, their road user charge. But the High Court ruled it was a tax, so only the federal government can do the tax, but anything else that's classified as a license, and the car rego is basically a license, is fine.
Okay,
right.
See what happens.
But there's not a license because that's what they describe it as when they apportion the cost to it.
Look, I'll have to speak to Chris. I know Chris, who took the case to court. He's a mate of mine. I've been reading through the High Court ruling, and as I said, basically they've said no, Victoria and all the other states who were supporting them, they said this is a tax. It is not a license or a permit as you are trying to claim. So it is unconstitutional for you to charge it. And so for anyone, fuel excise is a tax, which the federal government put on. So it means the federal government can eventually stick on the road user charge.
Exactly.
But it's unlikely to very quickly.
And for anyone that wants to read, if you find any trouble whatsoever falling asleep at night, and you want to read the judgment, it is only 384 pages long.
Yeah, there is a shorter summary.
Yes, there is. That's a one-pager.
Yeah, that's what I read.
Oh, Nigel, come on. You should have read the whole lot.
Look at the other bits, and I'm going, no, thank you.
This is the one-page summary that was put out today, but it's actually the 384-page judgment that's much more exciting.
Yeah, I fell asleep reading it.
But yeah, if you want to have a look at it, just go to High Court Judgments, just search that, and it's case number HCA 30. So of 2023.
And I'm also glad that the High Court said that Victoria's got to pay the expenses. So Chris and Kathleen will get some money back, which they actually raised on GoFundMe. So I don't know what they're going to do with it if they ever get it back. It takes a long time.
They'll probably donate it, I dare say, or something, because that's the best way. They'll just donate it to a worthy cause.
I'll make a few suggestions, Harold.
Do you think the Victorians would get a refund who have been paying for the last 2 years?
No.
Probably have to.
Unlikely to happen. Previously, where governments have charged taxes that have been shown to be wrong, they've actually gone and passed a law to say, well, we don't have to refund it, we're going to keep it. So it's unlikely that they're going to get a refund. They might just hang on to it.
Is that right, Nigel? So you mean they can write a law that says, even though we broke the law, we did something that was unconstitutional.
Yes, but
we'll declare it's ours anyway.
I have read somewhere today that is what has happened in the past. That might not have happened in Australia, but in other countries, they've gone and changed the law to say, yeah, well, we're going to keep it. It wouldn't work in business, because if you run a business and you overcharge somebody or charge them illegally, the courts would say, now pay it back and we're going to fine you. Well, governments come under a different category, I'm sure.
Yeah, quite. They do. But look, I don't feel too sorry for the state of Victoria. I'm sure it can afford to pay the lawyers on both sides. It would only have to be a lazy few $1 million anyway.
That's probably all they've made in the ZLEV fee anyway. So they're break even, close enough.
Well, and thankfully, we're probably halfway through the $10,000, $3,500 EV rebates that the West Australian government has kindly given new EV owners. But of course, they did that on the basis that they were going to hand out the stick in 2027 for a road user charge. So clearly, we've got a better deal in the short term. We've got the $3,500 times 10,000, and they do not have the EV excise or road user charge.
They may well turn around and cancel it now.
Well, they'd have to. But, to be honest, in Victoria, I think it was 2.5 cents per kilometre or so. Two or three.
2 no problem.
8 it had gone up to with the
2.8. So the average car in Western Australia does about 15,000 kilometres. So basically, it's $420. So all the state government has to do is increase the registration cost of an EV by $420, and there's the money. Unless this High Court decision has been found to make that illegal in the fullness of time. And the feds, look, let's face it, the feds will mount a correct argument that says that if all cars were EVs, then there'd be zero petrol excise revenue, and the money has to come from somewhere. So they're just going to put a road user charge on us anyway, on everyone, probably.
Yeah, and I think they should start introducing it on internal combustion engine vehicles first, according to how much crap they spew out the back.
Well, the way you could do that, Nigel, is you reduce the petrol excise to the value of its damage to the environment, and then you put a road user charge on everyone. So then if you've got a very efficient car that doesn't spew out too much badness to the environment, you don't have to pay too much, and everyone's going to buy an EV in the next 10 years anyway, and then that'll just naturally attrition itself away to oblivion.
It's kind of happening with hybrids.
Well, so go Des, then go Alex.
I said it's kind of happening already with hybrids. I mean, I had a hybrid before the Tesla, and fuel consumption compared to my previous car was fantastic. So hence paid less tax.
Absolutely. And Alex?
I was going to say, maybe put a carbon tax, maybe. But then there's another ball to throw, isn't it?
That's another political football, isn't it? Even though both governments of both persuasions had at different times promised a carbon tax.
And don't large SUVs actually pay less tax when you're buying it? There's a rebate or something because it's classed as a commercial vehicle.
Yes. Yeah, some of them do.
So shouldn't that be actually knocked off?
Yeah, but the government are giving fossil fuel companies money. They're approving coal mines left, right and centre. And another court ruling suggested that Tanya Plibersek, the Minister for the Environment, doesn't have to consider the climate effects of coal that's mined. I mean, that was just...
Yeah.
That was
let's face it, I mean, that actual discount for four-wheel drives was actually for farmers and people who have to have large SUVs. An awful lot of SUVs are used for dropping kids off at school.
Yep.
Which is ridiculous.
And something that all of those parents unfortunately do, particularly, well, actually probably in either season, whether it's summer or winter, is that while they are waiting for their children at the pickup line, they leave their diesel particulate belching vehicles idling. And it just so happens that the head height of a grade 1 kid is about the height of the exhaust pipe, and they are directly being marinated by these vehicles, and it's killing the children and making them sick. And it's not killing each child, but on average in the population, the death rate of children due to various lung conditions on average has gone up a lot. And it's damaging.
Just look at the asthma. Just look at the asthma rates for kids these days compared to when we were kids.
Yep.
It's estimated that 4,000 plus people in Australia die every year purely as a result of exhaust emissions, and it's 7 to 8 million in the world every year. I mean,
if you look at a lot of council vehicles and probably government vehicles in general, while they're having lunch these days, they've all got their motors running. And I find that incredible. I think it's criminal. But Look, it's the new trend in all of them.
I'm helping out on a school bus at the moment for disabled kids, and they leave the school bus diesel engine running. And I keep saying, turn it off. No, we can't turn it off. We've got to leave it running to get the air conditioning and stuff. And it's spewing out noxious poisons right by the entrance to the school.
Have they got a window in the bus?
Sorry?
No one uses a window anymore to cool the vehicle.
No.
You must have air conditioning. It's crazy.
Yeah, and I did actually question the owners about when you're going to get electric buses, and their answer was when the government buy them for us.
Yeah. Well, they're already subsidised anyway, greatly, these ones.
Yes.
I know in the States, swapping an awful lot of those big yellow buses over to electric. And then when they're parked up, they actually can be used as actually power generation and supporting the grid in the area.
Yeah,
that's one or two. That isn't all of them, but it is one or two.
Some of the states in America have said that any new school bus must be electric. Now, some of them have said 26 and 27. Others have said 35 and 40. No bus that is bought new must have an internal combustion engine in it. They'll all be electric. So some of the states have actually gone a little bit, whoa, 2026. I think one of them was 2025. If you
It
look,
makes sense.
They're available, aren't they?
They've got thousands of them over there already. I think Australia's got 3, isn't it?
If you think about it, school bus is used to actually cart the kids at 4 o'clock or thereabouts, 3 o'clock, and then it's used to cart the kids at 9 o'clock. The rest of the time, it's sat back at the bay. It can be charging and supplementing the grid, taking power off the grid when the grid's over capacity, and putting it back on the grid when it needs it.
If someone was
They're
smart
huge
enough,
batteries.
They'd do a conversion of buses. It's relatively simple for a bus because you've still got your body and all that. Whip out the back axle, throw the tail shaft away, and put a new rear end in it.
Yeah.
And then you got your batteries, of course, but wouldn't be too difficult.
No, not at all, because there's an awful lot of space on one of those things.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just a no-brainer, and the fact that in Perth we had to have an EV bus trial at the Joondalup Transperth depot, and they actually, I think they purchased 3 buses. They used 2 for the route, I think in opposite directions, and they had 1 as a spare bus because they presumed that one of the others would break down, and they apportioned 1 purely as a spare, and they had the temerity to claim that they had to do a trial to work out whether it was going to work or not, even though the bus route was like
Top Gear.
15 k's. Oh yeah,
It's called bureaucracy.
They probably had a report to go with it, which cost a couple of million,
and a committee to discuss it.
And basically, the reason they needed a spare was because they'd watched Top Gear.
No, they looked at all the hydrogen buses caught a light.
Yes.
Yes.
Actually, something that didn't catch a light, and I'm going to preface this video. I don't want to get into why this car was shot up and by who. But I think when you look at the video, what is astounding is that this car managed to drive away with its occupant, albeit wounded. And like I said, for the purpose of this video, please, we don't. I want to confine it to just what has been done to the car with projectiles and how this car has actually survived and operated through that ordeal with its injured driver.
And was driven at 112 miles an hour, 180 clicks.
With what you'll see is a couple of missing tires. So let's throw to the video, and it goes like this. And some of the actual bullets, how they've gone at a grazing angle, is amazing. Like just here. So that one's entered there and just grazed and erupted on the aluminium panel. And notice those. Go.
Like I said, those bullets were coming out of there because they were shooting at the engine that it doesn't have.
Yes, and they also shot at the petrol tank, which it doesn't have.
Yeah.
There's your turbine. There's your turbine wheels that are kind of seen better days.
They're
Sorry,
really
Harold. I just caught the tail end of this. Where is this? What's it for? Sorry.
Hang on. Sorry. So Damo, I'm just going to preface it. I did preface this video with, we're not going to discuss why this got shut up or by who, but just the actual footage itself and the remarkable fact that the car actually was still operating and allowed its owner to drive at very high speeds to a hospital to get treatment because the driver was actually quite badly injured. But it's
been a recent conflict.
Damo, I've messaged you.
Right, thanks, Richard.
That's impressive.
This goes for about a minute or so. Oh, and this one you can tell it's an older car because the front is a laminated window, whereas the back window, whoops, is not laminated, so the glass is gone. So that's why it looks like that.
That's some fairly severe rim rash, isn't it?
That'll buff out.
You can actually get touch-up paint that will actually cover some of that up.
Yes. So, that car is profoundly damaged.
Harold.
And yet it still works.
Only got two wheels. You're right. There's two wheels. Sorry, I thought there was only one wheel left.
Yeah, the two rears. Yes. So there you go. So, like I said, it's remarkable. If that was a petrol car or an internal combustion car of any sort, I'd have zero doubt that would have definitely stopped working. And, more badness would have happened. But anyway. Now, something else, other video I've got, this runs for 5 minutes, but I'm not going to run it for 5 minutes. But for anyone that wants to look on Twitter/X, and by the way, if you do enter in x.com, it now reverts to twitter.com. So go figure why that is. It seems the brand is still X, but they're happy for the website to default to twitter.com. And that is the FSD beta demo that Tesla actually did. And I'm going to have to mute the audio just in case it's licensed. And it basically saying that this video shows the current driving capabilities of FSD beta. And I think this was done around Austin. And it does look pretty funny the way the yoke turns. And basically, as we skip along, it goes on the highway. And I think it even goes later on, it goes onto the freeway all by itself.
Very cool.
And then it obviously comes off the freeway and down down to like the city centre. And then into a back street.
It's incredible.
What amazes me is in one of those back streets, it actually stopped and waited for a car that was blocking its way, coming in the other direction to go past, and then went on.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think
it's amazing what they can do with CGI, isn't
it? Elon did tweet, or do we say he X'd?
Posted.
Well, on what? He could have posted on Bookface. That very soon we're going to look back and wonder what all the fuss was about, self-driving.
I just wish he'd hurry up and give us beta already.
Yeah, activate pub mode.
That's right, Paul.
The big thing is it's just so hard to believe that any of our cars can actually do that now if it was enabled.
And the reason for that is when we observe autopilot, it is not even a shadow of FSD.
Yeah.
It's completely different, and it does at times some wildly silly things.
Yeah.
And it is really difficult for us to comprehend that it could be that good. But as soon as we get those trials, as soon as Australians start recording footage of the cars doing what they do in the US, we'll all start getting very excited.
The only thing that stops me buying it is the fact that I'm going to change the car before it's probably enabled.
I know. So please, Elon, every month have an amnesty that says that if you change your car, you can bring FSD with you. Please. Not just once in a blue moon.
Yeah.
But hey, yeah. We can also wish for a white Christmas, but we're not going to get it in Australia.
Or maybe we should have a subscription for it.
Well, a white Christmas.
Your new car.
Well, a subscription is likely, Nigel. That's. I think that's just. It's already happened in the future, and we're just waiting to collide with it. So that's a certainty that they'll bring a subscription into Australia. That's certain. But would you? Here's a problem. At the moment, we pay $10,100, which is a lot of money. But once you've spent it, you kind of never miss it again because it's gone. But if they charged you $400 a month or $200 a month, would you actually want to pay that much just for it to drive around?
But you could turn it on and off. Like, I'm going away for a month, I'm not paying.
Yes. So if you want to go on
want to drive, let the car drive me down to Esperance, I can pay for it again. Like the $9.99 at the moment for the premium connectivity. You can turn that on and off.
And actually, I think you just hit on something, because there'll still be a fair proportion of people that just won't pay the money, whether it's upfront or on a monthly basis. But what if they had like a day rate that was a lot higher per day in a month? If you had 28 days or 30 days, it should cost twice as much per day, if you know what I mean, on a daily basis. So that way, if you want to go down somewhere on the weekend, you just buy 2 days worth for $50 a day and go, hey, it's like being chauffeured.
That would work.
Or if you're out, like how I was saying, pub mode, maybe you've had a couple of too many drinks and you just go, oh, I'll just activate that instead of calling an Uber. Your car drives you.
You'd have to sit in the passenger seat in the way home, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't be allowed behind the wheel.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. And you'd probably want to be away from the steering wheel just in case you passed out onto it or something.
Yeah.
But it's just going to be. Oh, look,
you've seen Paul drink, haven't you?
I only had quite a number of beverages last weekend. I hadn't done that in a while. And then I went for a 15.5K hike up the next day. So
I bet that felt great.
Oh, it did. First 5Ks, I was like, I feel like death. But by the end, I was good. Sweated out. It's good.
And I was only kidding.
No.
The truth comes out, doesn't it?
I don't normally drink that much. I'll have a couple of drams and then that's it. I'm good.
Sorry, a couple of gallons? Sorry?
Dram, finger for scotch.
Right. It depends how wide the glass is, Paul.
And how big your fingers are.
Speaking of which, Tesla, we can't buy it, but they've brought the Cyber beer to the States. So if you've got any friends in the US, they can buy you some very expensive beer, Cyber beer.
Going back to your comment about
have you drank that, Harold? Is it any good?
So, hang on, Damon. Go Des.
Sorry, just a question. Going back to your comment about the autopilot. I've been running the enhanced autopilot. I turned on the navigation you spoke about last week, I think it was, and really impressed with it. Except, I live up in Butler and heading south and took the Burns Beach off-ramp, and it didn't feel too good as it took the off-ramp because it widens, and it kind of did the typical, I don't know if you guys have done control systems. It takes a wide and narrows down as it gets into the tunnel sort of thing. Yep. But otherwise, really impressed with it. Whether I'm going to pot the money to actually do it, I don't know, because it's a lot of money, but I am sorely tempted.
So you can get Navigate, I think this is right, I think you can get Navigate on autopilot for $5,100.
Yeah.
If you wanted to go halfway.
About.
Yeah. Look, it's a personal decision. I personally don't use Navigate on autopilot effectively at all, to be honest, because the only good trick it does that I ever use is it'll take an off ramp automatically. It'll indicate, and look, that's just magical to see. It's just awesome. But that's once or twice on the journey. The rest of the time, I don't use its automatic lane changing because sometimes it makes poor decisions. So I always have it on semi-automatic, and I usually say no or I don't acknowledge. So but the traffic lights stop. Go, Richard.
I just probably say in the States it was incredible when you're driving between US cities with 32 junctions all around the perimeter. Never missed one. But in Perth, it's 50-50 really. I do love Navigo and Autopilot, and but here, because we know the roads and not that many of them, I don't know. I would probably go for it, but it's marginal.
Then once in a while, it wants to bin you into a bloody pole. So
but that's
that just makes sure you're paying attention, Paul. That's just making sure.
It's like if you buy a Ferrari, you want it to explode. Burn you to death. It's a feature.
It is. Damo, in answer to your beer question, no, I haven't had cyber beer. No. No. The answer's no. But yeah, Des, just look, if you think you're going to keep your car for a number of years, it does parallel parking sort of often. It does it okay.
I haven't figured that one out yet. Still trying to figure it out. I'll keep it for at least 4 years, and I'm not sure beyond that.
Look, if you're spending $5,000, it's for a year it's $100 a week, isn't it? No, sorry. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
I don't know. If you keep
I'm tempted, but will behave like a Scott surname I've got. Have to keep my money. So.
But you might start getting very motivated once FSD beta comes out, and then things will start. I think we're all going to start quietly losing our minds, and if we haven't bought FSD or enhanced autopilot at least, then we'll probably all start jumping on board. So
yeah,
you can just wait and see. The fact
that you lose it with the car kind of puts me off. Yeah, I'm a bit like you on that one. Subscription model where you could turn it on and off, and it depends on ultimately at the end of the day, it will become safer. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And there will be a time, in 20 years' time perhaps, or maybe, things could happen really quickly, probably less than 20 years' time, where full self-driving will be mandated for a car to be purchased in Australia. It just won't.
If not, your insurance will be increased.
Well, it's a little bit like you cannot buy a new car in Australia if it does not have ABS. And I think you can't even buy one if it doesn't have at least a basic form of automatic stability control. So it's just, you cannot, under ADR rules, buy a car without ABS. Now, back in 1980, you could only buy one car with ABS, and that was a Mercedes SL whatever. Pure luxury car. So it will come. It's just, we just can't see it yet.
It's a bit of a shame, actually, Harold, with all the trials that they're doing and that. And I mean, it's great that they're giving people the enhanced autopilot, but really they should be giving them a shot at the traffic light control as well, because when you add that on, it's like a different world,
Yeah, true.
So it's a bit of a shame because people aren't getting to experience it at the full rate,
Yeah, I mean, what they should do is, if you could almost do like a tiered arrangement. I think it's 3 months. So if you got, I don't know, FSD for, maybe you should do it in reverse. You do enhanced autopilot for the first 6 weeks, and then FSD for the next 6 weeks, and then cut it off. Because if you're literally new to a Tesla, FSD could be a little bit overwhelming. And to be honest, a lot of people, I've seen cars where they haven't turned it on. So when you go into your menu, you should go and look at autopilot and make sure it's actually enabled. And to do that, you've got to be in park. So the car's got to be stopped and in park, and make sure that it's even selected as being possible to use. Because if you don't do that, pulling on the stalk won't do anything. So it's something that you do have to enable consciously for the first time. And look, just give it a go. And don't be scared of using it, particularly if you're on like a major highway, because in major highways it's very, very stable and consistent.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
It took me quite a while to turn on the navigate feature, 6 weeks, until I felt comfortable enough to do it. Quite like the auto lane change feature, with the enhanced autopilot, just not with the navigate.
Yep.
Quite like that. Although there are a few faults with that, but for the most part, it works reasonably well, I've found.
Absolutely. And yeah, I know quite a few people that haven't even used autopilot, and it's just a matter of just be brave, overcome that sort of initial fear or that weirdness of, oh my God, this car's actually steering itself. I mean, let's face it, we're all used to cars that use cruise control, and in the old days, cruise control was so basic. It was a hand throttle that you would kind of twist, and it would then just freeze the throttle in that position. It didn't mean your speed was consistent, it just meant the throttle was consistent. And we've, over generations, have been used to that. So having a car that actually steers itself, once you get used to it, it's actually really relaxing. Because even though you have to pay attention, you don't have to pay the minutiae of attention every millisecond. Unless you get to a complicated intersection, then things can get a little bit interesting. But as long as you just sort of guard your hand on the steering wheel, which you should do anyway, it'll always be okay.
Yeah, I must say the implementation of it is way better than what the Toyota is, and a couple of the other cars I've driven for work. The lane assistant, as they call it, the Tesla's is way better.
Well, I don't know if it's still the case in the very latest Hyundais, but a couple of my sons have got Hyundais that are a couple of years old, and their so-called lane assist only works when your hands are on the wheel paying attention, and then it engages. But as soon as you take your hands off the wheel and don't pay attention, it quietly disengages. So then it will just allow the car to drift off the road without you noticing. It's like literally the opposite of what it should be. So it's just madness.
Yeah, I had a Hyundai hire car in Melbourne a couple of weeks back, a brand new one, and it doesn't do that. They've obviously resolved that problem.
Good. Okay, well, thank goodness for that, because it was literally the direct opposite to what you need. You need the car to be in control when you're not paying attention, or at least yell at you to say, I'm going to disconnect. That's great to hear, Mark. Thanks for that.
Yeah. I used to have a Golf.
Sorry, I was just going to say, that being said, it was still nowhere near as stable as the autopilot.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, Mark, I didn't see you're in.
You're
actually in the left corner of me. I didn't just see you there. Go.
Oh, it's all right, no problem. I was just saying, I used to have a Golf Comfort Line, and that had auto steer, and it was better when I first bought our Tesla, which was 2 years ago in December, and it was actually better than the Tesla, but very quickly the Tesla went way better, more stable, makes better decisions, everything. But the Golf was pretty good.
As Elon Musk said, the first day you buy your Tesla is the worst it will ever be, because as they bring out each software revision and enhancement, the car will incrementally get better.
I agree. So I had the Golf 3 years, and every time I took it in, I said, when are you getting the maps updated? And it was never updated in 3 years. I get updates, but it's updated regular on the Tesla, and you don't do anything. You don't have to go into the service centre. The Golf, you have to go into the service centre for it.
Toyotas are the same. I've got friends who have got the full map display in the centre, but they've got a Garmin or one at TomTom up on the windscreen because they never update the maps. and they're totally out
Well,
of
that's
date.
why I always had a TomTom for that. I still use a TomTom actually now for runs, but I only use that because it does the distances between the the average speed cameras going down to Margaret River. The TomTom does it, but the Tesla doesn't.
I was like, that's your right scroll wheel.
No, but
You
the
go
actual the
500 and there you go.
TomTom app actually tells you what speed you're actually averaging.
Yeah, but you
Oh,
I
right.
just put it a couple of Ks under, and you just stay on that for the average speed.
Yeah, I try and run it to about one kilometre an hour over, and just leave it round about there. And it just, and if I go drifting a little bit higher, then I just knock it down a bit.
So Mark, do you do sort of 250 k's an hour for the first half of the journey, and then look at your TomTom?
No, I actually do 260, then drive into one of the roadhouses, have a beer, and then get back in and then do the next bit.
Yes. Don't do that at home, kids.
No.
Only kidding.
Yeah, of course.
Actually,
right.
on the software stuff, I was very impressed with that one where we got it, and the cameras are now better. You know, like I was just blown away. That is and I've had this car for 4 years, and I was just like, you know, like the side repeaters, because I've got the classic. Yeah. The orange flash would overpower everything, and now when you indicate, you can actually see. It's just with software and an update. I'm just like, so
the
impressed.
updates are brilliant, aren't they? They really
brilliant.
are, Paul.
I had one while I was sitting here. So.
Well, the color. If you look at if you bring up all the three cameras, the rear camera and the two sides, now all the colors match perfectly on the side ones to the rear. It's
I've got it up now. It's amazing. Oh.
Yeah.
When I first got ours, the colours were different in the different cameras.
Yeah.
And they're not now. They're all sorted.
Yeah, the rear was brilliant. The sides were shit. So, but now they're all
the side repeaters. The clarity seems to have improved vastly over previous software versions.
Yep.
One thing that Tesla hasn't yet done, and I hope they do, even though I know it can't be perfect, is give us the 360 view of the cameras around the car, like a virtual car. Come on, Tesla. It's not hard.
Yeah.
You've got a whole neural computer that when you're just driving slowly, doing maneuvers, you don't need all the rest of the autopilot stuff working. Just make it create that 3D render, please.
Yeah.
Yep. And I want a massage seats.
Oh, just go on a bumpy road on a road trip, mate. Then you'll get all the massages you want.
I did, for the hike, because I was out near the Mundaring Weir. I went on one of the side roads, and it was all potholes and stuff like that. So I was like, I got that experience on the weekend, so which wasn't quite good being hungover, but anyway, allegedly hungover.
Or go on the Outback Way, and that's just the corrugations for hundreds of Ks.
Oh no, that's all right. You just go flat out.
Yeah, until you get the next resonance frequency, and then the car explodes.
Yeah.
Dearie me.
Oh dear.
All right. Have we got any other questions or comments? What we might do is, this show used to be bigger than Ben-Hur, which was great in the 1950s, but in these modern times, we're all getting a bit older. We'll try and keep the show a little bit shorter to keep people wanting more for next week.
Sounds good. Well, what's happening next week?
Oh, nothing in particular. It's just another show. But actually, sorry, I apologise. I had it wrong. So the week before, let me just get my little phone diary out.
So next week's not it.
It's not next week. Sorry, next week is not a casual meetup.
Cool.
It's actually on, if I get my calendar happening, it's actually on the 1st of November. So at the 1st of November, which is effectively 2 or 3 days before the EV Expo at the convention centre, we're going to have a casual meetup. We're going to return to the Camfield. And the reason we're going to do that is we're going to widely publicise the fact that there is a casual meetup, not just for people interested in Teslas, but interested in any EVs in the lead up to the EV Expo. So And as a bonus, we're going to have a special guest, which is Charles Gregory, who will be coming from us directly from Hobart in Tasmania. In fact, I think he may actually be on his way today, because that's what he indicated last week, or he may be leaving in a few days' time. But he'll be an in-person special guest, and we'll openly invite as many people as can come to the Campfield to celebrate the imminent EV Expo. And also, we will also have a stand at the Expo with a car on display. So, and that'll be for the 2 days of the 4th and the 5th of November at the Convention Centre. And I'm pretty sure that entry is free.
But you've got a book, haven't you?
I've heard that too.
Yes, it is free. For the Saturday and Sunday, there's I think there's a conference or something on the Friday. I don't know if that costs. I think it does.
Yeah, and there's also a dinner afterwards, and that does cost a fair bit of money. But the main thing is to come to the actual expo, and you'll get to see. I have got a map somewhere. I'm not sure if I can bring it up in time, but I think there's Polestar will be there, and I think BMW, the WAEV network, or I forget what the government department is that's encompassing Horizon Power, Synergy, DBCA. I think that's it. They'll be there in a large stand, and hopefully we might see a Kempower charger and a car live at that stand, hopefully. A little bit of luck. So that's something to look forward to in 2 weeks' time. And like I said, that we won't have an Ask Us Anything. It'll be effectively an in-person Ask Us Anything. And you're more than welcome to buy the host of the show anything at the bar too. Just joking. Just joking.
I'll have his drink then.
Just a dram. Just a dram.
Just a dram, yeah.
Alrighty. Are there any other questions or comments before we start wrapping up this show for anyone? Apart from the fact that we've got the quarterly earnings report tomorrow, which is going to be exciting to see. One more sleep, if you can sleep.
No, thanks for the effort, Harold.
Yes.
Oh, no worries. It's all good. Hey, Pete, just in case you are around, or maybe you're just a square, because at the moment you're a square image. If you are around, can you please unmute so we can do an outro? Or I'll do it for you. So obviously, the way that Pete, I would always ask Pete how he would round out the show is he would say, as always, stay safe, stay sustainable, and obviously stay ahead of the curve. And then I would retort that the best way to do that is buy a Tesla, join TOCWA, and ask us anything about accelerating the world's transition to sustainable energy. Have a wonderful week, everyone. Do stay safe, and I look forward to seeing you on next week's episode of Ask Us Anything. Good night, everyone.
Cheers, Harold. Thank you.
Bye, Harold. See
you,
everyone.
guys.